Welcome to Healing Lives with Positivity 24/7, 365. This is a platform where we obsessively, compulsively just focus on all things positive. And today, that's exactly what this spiritual reading meeting is about. Obsessively choosing a thought for the day is good for your health. Obsessively. Also knowing when something is your idea and when it is not your energy is always going to be the best way to maintain spiritual health and wealth. I had a nice epiphany. I realized something as I was working out today, and my inner child said, focus more on the parts of your body where you really want to feel real energy, right? The heart chakra. Isn't that something how the heart came out first? That is so good. So the heart chakra was the first body part to come out. I feel like it's a really nice coincidence. Isn't that nice when you get those good coincidences, because you know that nothing is a coincidence. So focusing in on the heart chakra, really knowing when your energy is in a certain space, when you know that something belongs to you, when you know what to do with what belongs to you, obsessively, compulsively, deliberately staying focused on something positive, even when you're not moving your mouth, even when you're having certain thoughts. Knowing how to separate your thoughts from outer energies is always a very powerful technique, right? Absolutely. So the heart chakra is the core of our being. Oftentimes we talk about root chakra, solar plex, crown chakra. The heart chakra really is the core of your being, where your spirit lies. It represents your intuition, love, vitality, courage. Just look at the way the heart mimics what appears to be like a leaf, right? On a plant, a tree, vegetables. It has the same veins. This kind of looks like red leaf lettuce, right? The body is so smart. It tells you everything that you need to put in your body should look like what's already in your body. I had to learn that the hard way. Certain vibrational foods will put you in obviously a vibration. Overindulging on certain things, I feel like as we ascend, I don't know about y'all, but chime in. I feel like my taste buds have changed. Things I used to have an acquired taste for, I no longer have an acquired taste for, like on a physical level. That could also represent energetically as well. Certain conversations that I don't entertain anymore. I used to always kind of be on the listening end of people's energy. And I had to realize, wait a minute, this is not my energy. Because you're either going to feel empowered after you come up out of a conversation, or you're going to feel depleted or defeated. So knowing which energies belong to you and what does not, based on what you contribute to the conversation, you cannot converse with everybody about everything. I also had to learn that in a very interesting way, but I got it at some point, just like a lot of us, right? So I'm just extending that wisdom to you all. But the heart chakra, it really is the core of the spirit. It's spiritual wisdom, it's spiritual knowledge, it's intuition, it's consciousness within the heart. It's the center for divine connection and compassion. The heart represents inner orientation, a spiritual center that influences a person's fundamental choice, motivations, perceptions of unity, and others in the universe, right? So knowing when something belongs to you, the Five of Cups, yeah, look, I can't make this up. Sometimes, as an empath, even as a child, especially as a child, where's our light? Okay, there we go. Even as a child, I would pick up on other people's emotions and realize that it was never my feelings. It wasn't my emotions. I had to learn how to detach from emotions that did not belong to me. Let's see if we can fix that light once and for all. Let there be no distractions. Even this distraction is not my distraction. Okay, I think we got everything under control. So today I woke up and Spirit gave me a download. Obsessively thinking something good all day, thinking gratitude. It really is a formula. It really is a solution to problems that don't belong to you. It really, really is, finding one thought to obsess over in the day and saying it over and over and over and over and over, like constantly. Again, even if you're not talking out loud, even if you're just thinking quietly, like my favorite affirmation was, my body restores itself to its natural state of good health. And that's when I was really focused in on my health. I picked up that affirmation. I've been speaking that affirmation for probably like the last 20 years, right? And so my body started to really resonate with it. And people would say to me like, oh my God, you really look young. Oh my God, you really, and it was really just something that I obsessively, compulsively, deliberately, like, I don't know how many thoughts we have in a day, but I can calculate, estimate it, no lie. At least 40,000 times I said that in a day. That was the only thing I said to myself all day. No matter what was going on, no matter who else was saying something else, no matter who was projecting, deflecting, rejecting, redirecting, didn't matter to me. It wasn't my energy. I knew that, I was aware of it. And I would tell myself, my body restores itself to its natural state of good health. And then as I evolved, I realized, restored itself, which means that I'm constantly in the healing phase. I said, I need to get to being healed. Okay. So it took me like 20 years to change that affirmation to I've healed to my natural state of good health and wealth. And then I just let that be final. But that was one of my favorite obsessive thoughts, right? So if you're like me, I'm creative. I think a lot. I have to redirect my thoughts sometimes. In the world, they call it ADHD, attention deficit disorder. All these labels, that's not your energy. That's not your thought. That's not your label. You're not required to wear it. Once you hone in on how to redirect your energy, how to guide your thoughts, you then become in control of it. Now, some of you already know this, so just see this video as like a kind reminder. Sometimes you got to just be reminded of what is the right thing to do so that you do more of it. I don't feel like what we're talking about is a new conversation, but I feel like it's necessary. I feel like the more we obsessively, compulsively, deliberately focus in on things like this, it will absolutely remind us of certain things that we need to remember when we need to remember it. So choosing a thought, it might just be all day. You might just sit quiet like, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. Then if you're like me, I make a song out of stuff all day. Child, I will make a song out of something in a minute in the kitchen by myself, nobody watching. I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. I touched the counter, I'm grateful. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for this bread. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for the balsamic vinaigrettes, raspberry vinaigrettes. I don't know, I just had some avocado and tomato, so that's what that reminded me of. But even when you're eating, engulfing your taste buds, I'm so thankful, okay? You may not be speaking these out of your physical mouth, but your spiritual mouth, internal conversation, you might just be eating. And in your mind, you're thinking, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for this bread. I'm so grateful that I'm healthy. I'm so grateful for my optimum health, obsessively, compulsively. So choosing one good thought, right? Let's just see what the universe is saying. I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. Strength. This is where your power lies. Your power lies in the power of your mind, the power of your thoughts. That reminds me of a series that I used to listen to. Pastor Noel Jones did a 5-part series called The Power of the Mind. He's a pastor. I used to go to his church. I would go back and forth from the church to the mosque. Okay, I would see Farrakhan, and then I would go back to another mosque, and then I'd go back to the church. So I was getting my food. I had really good teachers, and I still do. And once the church started to migrate to the mosque, I started to integrate the knowledge. Then at the mosque, I was learning how to eat to live, how to cook for my family, things about my body, hygiene, things of that nature. That's when, I was educated on using baby wipes instead of toilet paper, right? Things like that, moisture. Learned a lot in those classes. But needless to say, getting back on topic, this is about your power. This is where your strength lies, in the core of your heart. Your heart is really what is at the heart of the matter. You got the Knight of Wands here. The Knight of Wands reminds me of passion, pursuit, pursuing positive thoughts, chasing down positivity, right? You know, we say, oh, we don't chase, we attract. No, there's some things you definitely need to go after, like the next thought that you're going to have. Go after that. Make it a good one. But obsessively choosing one thing. So I really want to just have fun on this platform. Let's encourage ourselves to just choose one good obsessive thought. Oh my God, thank you for my feet. Oh my God, my feet, my feet. I love my feet, my feet, my feet. I don't give a damn what your feet look like. I love my feet. I love my body. I love my legs. I love my heart. I love my heart. And this radiates a certain frequency that creates a field around you where you just start to attract it. And even if you say nothing, again, out of your mouth, it's absolutely going to resonate energetically because the energy is still going out, you know? You got ear gates, eye gates, throat gate, foot gate, hand gate. These are portals. These are pressure points. So that energy is radiating out just from the thoughts that you're thinking. So I encourage you, choose one good obsessive thought, you know? I'm so glad I'm healed to my natural state of youth and optimum health. I'm so glad I'm healed to my optimal state of, I'm so glad I'm healed. I'm so glad I'm healed. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so happy to be here. Like, these are the things I think about in my mind. Yeah, this is the energy, the magician, because you are the alchemist. You are the one sending out and or commanding and or demanding the energy of which you choose to operate in. I'm a firm believer that if you don't think for yourself, somebody will think for you. So remember, know what thoughts are yours. 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, most of the thoughts that we pick up on because we are so empathetic don't even belong to us, right? It's not your body. It's not your thought. It's not your problem. Yeah, 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is about coming into a partnership with the universe, with your higher self, with commitment, with positive affirmations, right? Finding them obsessively. There's also a really good nighttime, okay? Sleep guided meditation, okay? Some of these play for 8-9 hours. If you're like me, I've learned to sleep in the silence, but sleeping with affirmations playing quietly on a low level in the background is really good for reprogramming your whole physical body. I just heard back to the basics. So some of you might already be aware. You know, sometimes you have information and it's not that you're bored with it, but you've processed it as much as you can and you just need some fresh, like you've changed, so you need something new. You need something like a fresh message. There's so much good information out there in this world. There's so much good information, you know, new affirmations. Like I listened to Michael Seeley for probably like the last 18 years. My children grew up on Michael Seeley, sleep guided meditation. So yeah, they have it for athletes. I would play positive affirmations in the night for athletes, body health, mental health, for my son when he was 3 years old. I would play that in his room. He then just turned into like this all-star athlete, but really it was a programming. It was a redirecting of his thoughts. It was a being mindful of his abilities, his potential. And so my children grew up on meditation. So I didn't realize, you know, it's so funny that it's been 18 years that I've been listening to Michael Seeley. Well, eventually I moved on to something else because that program was permanently a part of my system. So now as I grew, as I changed, as I went through this metamorphosis, I needed new information, but really it's the same. It's just maybe you need a different sound, or maybe you need to hear a different voice. It's the same with these readings, right? You know, you might have your favorite reader. Maybe they say something the way you like to hear it, but really the message is the same. Yeah, look, encouraging yourself to go through a transformation. So you got death. Death is about transformation, leaving the old self behind, leaving the versions of yourself behind, leaving the thought process behind, leaving behind anything that resembles an old version of yourself. And what's at the heart of the matter is absolutely going to invoke more love, more vitality. why do I want to say versatility? So maybe some of you are being guided to be more versatile, courageous, strength, core. Yeah, your heart is the core. It's the center of your emotions. The heart represents your passions. Yeah, I can't make it up. And then you got the Hierophant, getting closer to God, praying. Yeah, I like it. So I encourage everybody, let's do it together. Choose a new affirmation, something that you've never said to yourself, and just obsess over it all day, consistently, compulsively, deliberately, intentionally, no matter what's going on. The Eight of Cups, the universe is saying to walk away from an old way of being, an old way of seeing things, an old mindset, old eyesight, visually, how you see the world, invoking a new eyesight, a new heart. It's almost like getting new organs, It's giving that kind of energy. Nine of Wands, it's like reversing your age, or just feeling really good in your body. I like that. Eight of Cups, walk away from your old version of yourself. Yeah, look, the Fool. The universe is encouraging the collective to continue taking a leap of faith. The Six of Cups from the past. Yeah. So most times, the past is an illusion. We've had things that have happened, but it's not your life. That's not your life. That's not your thoughts. That's not your body. That's not you anymore. Once you go through this death, you got to have a funeral, or maybe you don't. Maybe you would choose to have a funeral for your old self or not. But you got to leave that person. You got to never look at that person ever again and fill your cup. King of Cups is love. Six of Cups is the past, nostalgia, right? So the moon cycles are really good for creating illusions of the past, or to make you believe that something is actually real when it's not. Yeah. Being able to see through that. Look at the Nine of Wands. You're no longer the wounded warrior. You're protected. You're safe. So even if all day, especially for people that have gone through PTSD or very traumatic things in their childhood, even if all day you obsessively think, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. I promise you, those two words, I'm safe, will evolve into I'm divinely protected, I'm safe, I'm divinely connected, I'm safe. It always evolves. One positive thought feeds another one. And then you just have this mind that's been reformed and reshaped, and all of a sudden people want to talk to you, but it's not because of what you're saying, but it's really because of what you're saying. The internal dialogue, right? Proven, tested, and tried. This is just a kind reminder. We know these things. Sometimes you got to get back to the basics, right? You got to decide which parts of yourself are really the good parts of yourself that you want to take behind. Yeah. Right? I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. You may even follow that up with the physicality. You may even wrap your arms around yourself, right? Now you have something physical, tangible with the thoughts by way of manifestation. Now I'm wrapping my arms around myself. It's the best hug I've ever had. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm well. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm enjoying my new body. I'm enjoying my new way of thinking. I am enjoying my new way of being me. Deciphering between what energies belong to you, what's not your problem, but what is your solution. 9 times out of 10, most of the energy that you felt didn't belong to you anyway. The Empress, self-love. The heart of the matter. Give me one more, Spirit. Yeah, I can't make this up. Look, the Five of Swords in the reverse. The Five of Swords in the reverse is like getting out of like a victim's mentality. Like everything is happening to me instead of for me. Yeah, no, that too is an illusion. Everything is happening for me. Everything's moving in my favor. I'm safe. I am well. I'm a new person. And then I feel like even with that thought, y'all, it's like the new self will start to attach itself to all things new. It will only, it'll encourage self to be a better new self. And it's like you start to create this new version of yourself. And then you realize, oh my God, it's been 7 days. Some shit's happened, but I stayed positive. I like this new version of me. Okay, let's do it for another 7 days. Now we got a new affirmation. silently thinking as you're driving, as you're moving, as you're sitting, as you're in motion, as you're sleeping, as you're doing whatever. Now you got a new affirmation. Everything's working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. Everything is going in my favor. Everything is working to my benefit. Everything is working for my good. Although I'm saying these words out loud, they carry a certain vibration. It penetrates the area, it penetrates the walls, it penetrates my house, it penetrates everything within my realm. Silently, I've had these thoughts without moving my lips. There's a difference. When you go within with that same internal dialect and you talk to this new version of yourself, because now that I want to be somebody new, now that I'm committed to being somebody new, I now have to conceive in my mind, well, what does she look like? Oh, she's 50 pounds lighter. Okay, well, cool. Just accept that. Doesn't mean that you go obsessively get into a diet regimen and do some stuff that's off the wall because now you got to be 50 pounds lighter. If you say that to yourself, your body will make it happen. Your body will be like, okay, like, this is not our weight to carry. You know, that's not our cellulite. That's not your fupa. That does not belong to you. That's not yours no more. Your old body ain't got nothing to do with your new body. Yeah, 5 of Swords in the reverse. It's sad. Let that go. The Hangman, and see something from a different perspective. So this is like new vision, new thought, new thinking. With that comes new body, new thoughts, new affirmations. Yeah, the 5 of Swords in the reverse is kind of like not playing the victim, not fighting any weird energy, not being your own worst enemy. It's like catching yourself when you feel like you're playing the victim. I remember when I came out of a traumatic situation and they had labeled it as PTSD. And I remember when I became more aware of my thoughts. I had gone through this L. Ron Hubbard class. I hung out with a lot of Scientologists at the time, very intelligent people. And I remember when I went through a mind audit, okay? And I remember when I caught myself playing the victim. Although there were some really horrible things that had happened to me, I caught myself in my own mind. I didn't open my mouth. Nobody knew that I had just checked myself mentally. It was quiet. It was silent. And I remember sitting up saying, I don't want to think about that. Why am I thinking about that? How many times have I had that thought? Or I calculated how long I had been thinking that way. I'm like, you know, I've been hurting over this same thing for like 2 years. I remember sitting down with myself like, I don't want to think like this no more. I don't want to be like this no more. I want to get rid of this thought. And so I did. I would literally say to the thought, like, I don't want to think like that. And I would just let it pass. I don't want to feel like that. And it would just pass. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be this. Like, it's a no, right? Okay. Yeah. That Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, was a really good book. And for those of you that are familiar, very, very good information. I feel like it was ahead of its time. I also feel like a lot of traditional religious people didn't like the fact that we were tapping into the science of the consciousness or the science of the body, connecting the physical body to emotional ailments. Like, we were starting to find out like, oh, okay, so most people that have had like a heart attack have a broken heart. They've gone through grief, they've gone through pain, literally, right? Or people that have lower back problems usually fear something. They're carrying fear, right? Or people with knee problems or leg problems or hip replacements or hip pain usually have issues feeling unsupported, right? All those emotions on a metaphysical level have connected to physical ailments and diseases in the body. So now that we have the antidote, one must be responsible for their own personal health, their own personal wealth, and how they think. We are in the age of Aquarius. Listen, can we just say it? We are in the age of Aquarius, honey. Listen, we are in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is saying, think differently, ascend, or get left behind. And who wants to get left behind, you know, by versions of themselves that refuse to die? Nobody wants, no, not the new self. The new self, oh, the new self is like, what? I would never. There's no way, right? There's no way. So being mindful, radiating a certain energy from your heart, breathing into your heart. Even as I speak this message, I'm mindful of my heart as it pumps vitality through my body, through my system. So any other energies that don't belong to me simply get transmuted instantaneously. That is a real mindset. That is a real thing. Obsessively, compulsively, deliberately. There's so many things that we've obsessed over. There's so many things that we've obsessed over. Why not obsess over something good? The Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is about feeling as though you've missed opportunities. No, you've had all the opportunities you were supposed to have. To sum it up, it's all good. That was such a horrible experience. It's all good. It was for your benefit. It taught you something. You tapped into this powerful spiritual mechanism that has allowed you to transmute and turn your pain into triumph. This is why trauma bonding is a very unhealthy practice. But the benefit, I always like to end with the positive. The good part about it is you learn how to navigate through emotions and energies that don't belong to you. Most trauma bonding has a lot to do with discussing the past. That's not even your life anymore. Why are you still talking about that? And why are you still seeing it that way? So we talk about pain from the past or talk about death or whatever that turning point was for you in your life. You know, there's some times where stuff happens in life, right? Whatever that turning point was for you in life, that moment of realization, it's an opportunity to look at that experience differently. Like when I think about pain, trauma that I had gone through or that I thought I was going through, I'm like, that was not even my energy. That's not even my body. That's not even my soul. That's not where it's at. When I decided to change that thought, I looked at things that seemed bad as an opportunity for me to learn how to overcome myself. That's it. Not nobody else. Not my mama, not my daddy, not my sister, not my cousin. I see everybody as children. I had to get to a point. I really feel like that helped me forgive a lot of people who were adults who did the best that they could. It really, really honestly did. It really did. I said, oh, my mother. Okay. Seeing her as a child hits differently when you know that somebody's done the best that they know how to do. This is where you break that generational curse. Got the Wheel of Fortune, my loves. Destiny calls. Destiny calls for you to be somebody else, to successfully go through your death, find you a dream team. Okay, it might be a shaman online. It might be a reader that inspires you. Okay, I got my own dream team. I got people that inspire me. Other readers that inspire me too. They help me too. Because when you are in the mindset of something new, you encounter people with that same energetic flow. We all can tap into dense energies and see what's going on in the shadows, which really spiritual court is getting a lot lighter. You know, the drama is disappearing. And I remember somebody came to the platform the other day and they're like, this is so boring. And I thought, oh, it's because we're talking about something good. Oh, okay. You here for the drama? That's crazy. So being addicted to dense energy, being addicted to drama, being addicted to trauma, it's the kind of pain that you can't get used to. Watching certain shows, you know, it's so crazy because the other day I was watching a workout video on Instagram and I was flipping through, and all of a sudden something from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta came on. Most toxic, energy I ever seen. I said, oh, I'm so glad that's not my life. Oh, I'm so glad that's not my energy. Oh, I'm so glad that does not represent my soul. I'm watching people get so like angry, chiming in, typing paragraphs, spending time over people who are projecting their trauma out by way of a TV show. I said, oh, this is so bad for your health. It's like eating low vibrational spiritual food. That's really what it's like. When you watch toxic stuff like that, you know, your eye gates is a gateway to your brain, to your consciousness. Then all of a sudden you walking around and you thinking about what's going on with this person and that person. And these people have dumped their energy on you and they've gone about their life. Then they pop up again and they got big rings and big cars. Wait a minute. That's a shift of energy. That's a projection of energy. And it came up on my timeline. I was like, what is this doing here? The first thing I said was, what is this? Everybody was arguing and my man and you said, and I don't like him. And I said, we have normalized sociopathic tendencies, narcissistic tendencies. We've made it the norm, not we, but certain people. And they feel like it's okay. A narcissist is a professional deflector, projector. They will dump all their stuff on you and then turn around and go get into a new relationship and appear to be happy. And maybe they really are because they really believe it. They've taken on a whole new personality and left you with weight that doesn't even belong to you. It's like, this is not even my weight to carry. This is not my health problem. This is not my cancer. This is not my energy. Right? Even with breaking those generational curses, y'all, you got to know what thoughts are yours, what belongs to you. Sift through it, slice it, dice it, chop it up, trash it, twist it, turn it, whatever you got to do. Pop it, bop it, get it away. But decide consciously, right? What I realized, maybe when I didn't even realize, was that a lot of my thoughts were on auto repeat. And most of my thoughts were me being concerned about other people more than I was myself. I'm like, where did I learn to do that? Let me forgive the person who projected that onto me as a child, who taught me to be that selfless, because that's not healthy. You got to be a little selfish. That's self-care. That's self-preservation. Because who's going to take care of you? Nobody's coming. It's only you. So you balance that out. And then you're able to love other people from a pure heart space. So in breaking those generational curses, I was like, this is not even my pain. This is not even my health issue. This is not even my trauma. This is not even the way I think. This does not belong to me. Where does it belong? Let me put it where it belongs and leave the version of myself that had accepted that this was okay. It's an unlearning process. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. Okay? All life paths. Chime in, like, love, share, subscribe, build you a dream team, find you a good shaman. Shaman Durek, my favorite. He's a part of my dream team. He keeps me calm when I need to transmute energy, meditate, tap into my body. I love him. Shaman Durek. I'll try to post him. If you don't know him, look for him. D-U-R-E-K. Shaman Durek. He's been trained as a shaman since he was 3 years old. Amazing man. Absolutely radiant soul. Dr. Samuel Lee. I used to work at the same company as him. Okay? I used to book his appointments. A lot of people don't know that. He's a famous spiritual psychologist now. Yeah. True story. And we both walked away from the company because we saw what was going on in Western medicine. That's a whole nother story, but he's a part of my dream team. He doesn't know me directly, but I used to make his appointments. I never talked to him directly, but I used to have access to his schedule. I would schedule his behavioral health appointments. Now that we're coming full circle, now both of us are in the public eye, public speakers, a part of this higher consciousness. What an amazing time to be connected and alive. These are people that you should seek out. They're amazing. Not everybody's going to be your fit. One of my favorite pastors, Bishop Noel Jones, amazing. Some of my favorite practitioners, rest their soul, Louise Hay. I've been following Louise Hay, oh my God, since I was 19. Florence Scovel Shinn, favorite from the 1920s. Favorite, one of my favorite spiritual practitioners. I feel like energetically, these were my spirit guides. I found their work at times that I really needed it. So seek these dream teamers out, you know, create in your mind a dream team. Who's going to get you to the next thought? Maybe you'll only need it for a little while. I read Florence Scovel Shinn's book so many times, it's permanently implanted in my DNA. I don't need to pick up the physical book. I've archived it in my mind, and my mind naturally goes to parts of positivity. When I need to access it, I simply push a button. That is the purpose. So the new self needs to be reprogrammed with the new program. That way you get rid of the old way of being, the old way of thinking. We'll talk about it in the next video. I love y'all, okay? I'll see you over at Spiritual Core TV, or if you just want to meet me here, I'm fine with that. I love you so much. I thank you, thank you, thank you. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below. Don't be shy. Maybe just drop a heart. If you don't want to say anything, that's fine. I love you. I send you good love and enlightenment to your new versions of yourself. From my new self to your new self, our inner childs are very happy, and I love you, okay? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace be with you.